Hi guys, I was invited guest speaker at Pistachio's Grover meeting, and in a question time I said, "Gentlemen, I can only speculate but not give you the right answer how much water to apply within root zone depth of your pistachios unless we dig some soil pits and make a maps. We have digital soil maps. Great. Can I see them, please?" They show me some fancy graphics rather than maps. And we look at them and I said, "I can't see any information here regarding your root zone depth at all. Such information is just not there. It's missing." "What do you mean missing?" "I mean exactly what I said. It's missing, it's not there, and I can't comment information that doesn't exist." And then one grower said, "Can you prove what you say out there in the field, that information is missing?" I said, "Surely I can, if you give me a chance to dig a pits to see what's below the surface. But there are two conditions. First, we must dig pits in a good and a bad growing areas, which are essentially under the same drip line, which applies the same amount of water, fertilizers, chemicals in both in good and bad growing areas. And the second, you must bring those maps with you in the field and then jump with me into the soil pits to see how much these maps and the report and other information that you have from remote sensing survey are matching criteria in your own orchard, in the field, in a pit that you see yourself." This will give you the opportunity to talk to your pistachios and talk to your soils in a universal language which doesn't need translator, as your soils and your roots don't lie. They only speak the truth. So in the morning they dug couple of pits, actually long trenches, perpendicular to tree-row orientation, so that we can observe what roots are doing, how they're performing in those drip irrigated areas and those dry areas in between two rows. And we examine them together. In good growing areas, as soon as they start digging, we saw abundance of roots, deep roots branching in all directions. So I said, "Hold on for a second, please. Let's open up those maps, the report, all other data that we were looking last night to see whether there is any information about the roots that you asked for, and if there is, are they matching criteria that you see here?" Well, guess what? There was nothing. And then we moved into bed growing area, and in that area we saw that yellow layer, that one, that completely stopped roots from penetrating through into the soil below it to access moisture and the nutrients. And this yellow layer, which prevented the roots penetrating from the day when pistachio was planted 17 years ago, was not shown on soil maps, or digital soil maps should I say, not in the report, nowhere. And then we had a very first reaction from one of those growers who said, what is that?" And then he and some others jumped into the trench, some opened a pocket knife and started digging, but they couldn't. It was hard like a rock. So after we had some fun, I jumped in and said, well, gentlemen, that layer is technically called fragipan. Was there long before us and will be there long after us. That layer will not vanish, will not disappear just like a fog and it's not there anymore. No, no. It will be there and will continue affecting performance of your pistachio.
That's the one.
Unless we decide to do something to get rid of it. This very same concrete layer was not detected by remote sensing, which is why they could not show it on their maps or anywhere in their data. It is what it is. Can you fix it? I surely can. But I will need more pits to generate soil maps showing good, bad, ugly areas, knowing what is what, where is what, how much of it, so that we don't spend money on what we don't have to spend money. And only then I can prescribe site-specific remedies to deal with a particular soil problems in a particular areas, because one size doesn't fit all. This was a turning point which opened the gates to dig additional 2,200 soil pits in Southern California in 2023. Nevertheless, we examined additional 8 pits, but this one attracted a particular attention, and we spent considerable amount of time discussing why there were not visible roots unless I showed them the tricks where roots were hidden, virtually squashed like leaves compressed in the book, and that's why they couldn't see the roots. To stop arguing, I then decided to show them 2 simple tests which they can perform at any time. One was to test soil stability in presence of water, and the other one is to test the soil reaction to shaking or vibrations. We all had fun playing with the mud, after which we agreed that shakers must be kept miles away from soils that are sensitive to vibrations, because shakers can make more damage in one go than compaction in many years. Thank you for watching.